The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna, the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 7th verse. The living entities are part and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 33rd chapter, and 7th verse, as follows. Ahobata svapako ton krityam, ya jivagre vartata nama tubhyam, tepustapas te juhuvu sasnur arya, brahmanuchur nama grinanti yete. O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of a Chandala, dog-eater, is situated in the highest platform of self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic rituals, nor it is possible to study all the Vedanta and the Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purposes of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, as recorded by Lord Chaitanya, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakashananda Sarasvati, why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of studying Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool and thus asked him to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author of and knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism.
Okay. So Krishna is giving an example here, comparing the purpose of the Vedas to the purposes of a small pond. So all the purposes of the Vedas, that's like the great reservoir of water. So a great reservoir of water can serve all the purposes of the small well. You know, in the villages in India, they'll have wells. One well will be for taking bath, and one well will be for washing clothes, and another well will be for drinking water. Like that, there'll be different wells. So different purposes with different wells. But the great reservoir of water, where there's a big river or a big lake, then they'll do everything. You know, all the purposes will be served there. So the purposes of the Vedas, if you want to understand the purpose behind the Vedas, we have to know the purpose behind the Vedas. What is the purpose of the Vedas can be understood by one who knows the purpose behind them. So often people like that, they don't understand what's the purpose behind the Vedas. To know the purpose behind the Vedas, you have to have the guidance of the devotee, the spiritual teachers, who can tell us what is the purpose behind the Vedas. Otherwise, people may just read the Vedas and they'll become lost. But as Prabhupada is quoting several times in the purport here, he quotes a verse from the 15th chapter, 15th verse, where Krishna says, "By all the Vedas I am to be known, and I am the author, and I am the compiler of the Vedas." So that's the message from the Vedas, which Prabhupada is presenting to us, that you have to know Krishna. And we often hear Prabhupada talk about Vedanta, that Vedanta means knowledge, Veda means knowledge, and Vedanta means the end of knowledge. And so the end of knowledge is to know Krishna. If we don't know Krishna, then what's the good of all the knowledge? So this is the point Prabhupada is making again and again. There are certain people, they describe themselves as Vedantists, and they speak on Vedanta philosophy, but they don't understand Krishna and they don't know the real purpose behind the Vedas. So Prabhupada quotes this famous incident of Lord Chaitanya, where Lord Chaitanya was asked by the Mayavadi sannyasi guru, that time this was in Benares, Prakusananda Saraswati was the name of the Mayavadi sannyasi, and he was the leader of he had many disciples, all sannyasis in the line of Shankaracharya. So he met with Lord Chaitanya and he asked Lord Chaitanya why he didn't study Vedanta like the other sannyasis, because that's the main purpose in the Mayavadi sannyas, that they think that's the goal, to study the Vedanta and to get liberation. For them, the goal is liberation. And they say they achieve liberation by studying the Vedas, particularly Vedanta. But Vedanta is Vedanta Sutra. Sutras are very difficult to understand. You never understand Vedanta Sutras, and Prabhupada said in this age also people won't understand the Vedas. It's not clear. If you go to read the original Vedas, won't know what's it all about. Very hard to understand. But if we read the Bhagavad Gita, then we get some real understanding. And Prabhupada said if we chant Hare Krishna, then that's something really tangible. You get some real benefit by chanting the holy name of Krishna. But if you just try to read the Vedas, you'll never understand. There was one famous German Sanskrit scholar. He studied the Vedas, but he didn't understand anything about Krishna. So it's very difficult to know Krishna from the Vedas, but from the devotees, very easy to know Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya was there and he met these people in Benares and they were asking him, why don't you study Vedanta? So Lord Chaitanya said, oh, my spiritual master said I'm foolish, I cannot understand Vedanta. He told me just to chant Hare Krishna. But then Lord Chaitanya went on to explain Vedanta to these people. He was saying, my spiritual master told me just, but that was just a cover-up. Actually, Lord Chaitanya, of course, he is Krishna himself. He's the compiler of the Vedas. He knows the Vedas very well. And so when he presented the Vedic philosophy, then the Mayavadi people were convinced, and they also chanted Hare Krishna, and they also became devotees. So this is something really important in the Kali Yuga. Just studying Vedas is not going to get us very far at all. In the Bhagavad Gita, I think, I can't remember where, maybe it's in this chapter, second chapter, but Krishna says, the Vedas deal with the subject matter of the three modes of nature. Rise above the modes, Arjuna. Krishna tells Arjuna, don't waste your time with the Vedas because that's just material knowledge. You have to rise above the Vedas. This is important. Why waste your time with this material knowledge, the Vedas? How to enjoy the material world and how to get position, how to get success, sense gratification, all of these things, even how to get liberation. It's all there in the Vedas. That's all material knowledge. We want to get devotion. Devotion is also there in the Vedas, but it's concealed. It's not given much importance. Therefore, to understand the purpose behind the Vedas is very important. And that's what Krishna is speaking here. We should know the purpose behind the Vedas. And purpose behind the Vedas is to come to Krishna consciousness, to become a devotee, and to chant Hare Krishna mantra. That is the real purpose behind the Vedas. Any questions? No questions? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Hare Krishna, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Just Hare Krishna. So means if I just chant Hare Krishna every day, my 16 rounds, there is no need to learn much more about reading more, books or there. It's enough. I mean, to chant Hare Krishna will be enough for me to, like some sages didn't even knew to read. They didn't even read Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. So just chanting Hare Krishna, it's enough in this Kali, edge of Kali. Because I'm not educated anyway in the Vedanta philosophy. I know nothing about the Vedas, and it's, yeah. Just chanting Hare Krishna,
we don't need to know anything about the Vedas. That's a waste of time. That's material knowledge. That's all material knowledge. Krishna says, rise above the Vedas. We want to know about Krishna, right? Yes. You know something about Krishna. We may not know much about the Vedas. We may not know anything about Vedanta, but we know about Krishna. That's much more important.
Yeah.
That's the real goal, to know about Krishna. And if we chant Hare Krishna, we should want to read the books about Krishna. We should want to read, for example, Bhagavad Gita, and read about Krishna's teachings, and read Srimad Bhagavatam. These books will help us to chant better. Because if we just chant and we don't read, we don't know anything, we'll wonder why I'm chanting. We'll forget, why am I chanting? I don't know.
Right.
We don't even know who Krishna is. I don't know. I just chant, I mean, it's good, you're chanting, but if you know something about Krishna, and if you know the philosophy, it will be better. Your chanting will be better. So it's important. Prabhupada wanted us to read the books because he knew that will help us. The chanting is really, it's very, very important. It's the most important of all the instructions of Prabhupada, that we should chant every day. But he also said read the books, because we read the books that will help us to chant better, to improve the quality of our chanting, to give us more understanding and more taste for the holy name. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, good question. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Guru Maharaj, so these two processes, chanting and hearing, we feel that it's easy to hear about Krishna, hearing about Krishna's pastimes, hearing the philosophy, but it's difficult to concentrate the mind on chanting. Why is it like that? Means, is chanting more difficult than hearing, or it's only my personal problem?
Usually hearing is more difficult than chanting. Because hearing, we have to focus the mind to concentrate. But chanting is, at least kirtan, to join in kirtan is easier than hearing. Some people, if they have to hear, if they come in the lecture and have to hear, they'll fall asleep. But kirtan, chanting, that's easier for them. They can stay awake. People can, even young children, they enjoy kirtan, they can take part in the kirtan. It's not a problem for them. So in some ways, hearing is more difficult than chanting, usually, for most people.
Okay, Guru Maharaj.
But how to do it, how to overcome these problems? The problem is the mind. We have to train the mind to hear. That's the real problem. Hearing and chanting, that we have to train the mind that this is what we're going to do. And the mind of course is resisting, or the mind is saying, oh, don't do this, oh, do something. The mind is always making objections. The mind is the enemy. The uncontrolled mind is the enemy. No, we have to learn to neglect the mind. We have to just enter into the mood that this is my program. I'm going to chant. I'm going to hear. It takes practice. In Srimad Bhagavatam, they recommend doing more service. By doing service, then we get a taste. By serving devotees who are free of sin, then you get a taste for hearing and approaching the Lord. For hearing, because hearing is more difficult, but if we do more service, you get a taste for the hearing. But chanting, at least kirtan, do more kirtan, is very powerful. And kirtan will help us to get taste for our private japa. Generally, we encourage, in the beginning, we do more kirtan. And then by kirtan, then people will start doing more japa gradually. Once they get a taste for kirtan, it can bring them to japa. Because kirtan is, you do with a lot of people, but japa you do on your own. It's individual meditation. So the japa is important for us. We have to, and when we do japa, proper chanting, then in proper chanting there is also hearing and there is also remembering. So in kirtan, or when you do kirtan, any kind of kirtan, there should be hearing and there should be remembering. So here this kirtan, this kirtan chanting, this is very special because we can hear and we can remember also. All three kinds of devotional service are there. They're all performed in the process of chanting. Okay?
Guru Maharaj, now it's more clear.
I have another question.
Yes?
I'm doing right now some study for getting a certificate or diploma, and needs a lot of energy, time. I'm learning things. I have to spend much time to do this study because I'm working. I have a family, and so sometimes I want to give up, and because my mind doesn't want to work so hard, and I'm saying anyway, this is only material knowledge. This will go away. This is not very useful. Better don't waste my time learning and studying to get this diploma, but read Prabhupada books and chant more rounds and hear about Krishna. So, but I would like to finish my diploma to get this. So, yes, I have to do spiritual and material activities together. I mean, not giving up the material side, saying, oh no, this is not spiritual.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Well, we have to understand we have some responsibilities in the material world, and
Yes.
for some time you have to devote yourself to get the diploma, which is required for your work. But it's not for long. It shouldn't be forever. It shouldn't take many years. You know, probably how long it's going to take you to get the diploma?
Oh, just a few months. In May, it's supposed to be finished in May.
Oh, okay. Not a long time. It's worth the
No.
sacrifice if it helps you to get better, you know, to do your job better and to be more secure in material life. You have to do these things, of course. You know, somebody,
Yes.
if somebody's working as a lawyer or a doctor, they have to do these things all the time, you know. They have exams, you have review, you work in the bank. People who I know work in the bank, they say they have exams all the time, you know, every few months, another exam, you know. They have to study, they have to do these things, you know. You want to keep the job, you're okay, you have to make that sacrifice.
Yes.
But, you know, it's not forever. As soon as the exam is over, then you can start reading Prabhupada's books again.
Yes.
So sometimes we have to, you know, you have to make these adjustments, balancing material and spiritual. And sometimes, even though you're studying material, it's good to have a break sometimes, you know, to keep a Prabhupada's book with you and just read it for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Take a break just to give your mind a break from the mundane, from the material knowledge. Just try to take a little bit nectar from Prabhupada's books. Or if it's not reading Prabhupada's books, then just do some kirtan or do some chanting. And that way you get a break. Especially during this lockdown period, I'm spending a lot of time, you know, in my room. There's not much to nowhere. It's not so safe to go around. So I'm in my room a lot, but you know, every couple of hours, get up and go for a walk back and forward, do my chanting and listen to some kirtan or something, and then go back to my own personal study. And like that, you have to balance. You have to have some little bit variety in your work to keep yourself sane. So the same way with your job, you're working for the diploma, you know. So it's not all work for the diploma, but you know, take a little break here and there just to keep yourself refreshed.
Yes.
And soon it will be over. Hopefully you'll get the diploma and it'll be all over. Nice. You can go back to your hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting is our real business as devotees, but you know, we have to do other things as well from time to time. Okay?
Okay, thank you, yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
All right, we'll go on. Read the next verse. Vaishnavi?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah? Who will read the next?
Yeah, yes, Guru Maharaj. कर्माण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्व कर्मणि. Translation, Herina, do you want to read the translation? Herina, do you want to read the translation?
Hi, you are talking to me?
Yeah, yes. Do you want to read the translation from screen?
I can try just 1 second.
Yeah.
So, you have a right to perform your described duty, but you are not entitled to the fruit of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached not doing your duty. There are 3 considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means action without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into 3 subdivisions: work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for result is action in the mood of godness. Work with result becomes the cause of bondage, therefore such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his priority right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in a battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path for salvation for Arjuna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right, so this is a very well-known verse. We often hear this verse quoted by people. They're very fond of it. Some people, they like especially the first part, where Krishna says, you have a right to perform your duty. So they think, Krishna doesn't mind, Krishna likes me to work. Krishna says, do your duty. But then they never quote the second part. They always quote the first part. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty. But Krishna then goes on to say, you're not entitled to enjoy the results of your work, the fruits of action, the result of the work, the fruits of action. That's of course why we work. But Krishna says you're not entitled to that. Who will work without being entitled to the fruit of our work? When we work, we want to know how much, what am I getting from this work? How much are you paying me? We're very attached, we're very fruitive. But Krishna is saying, don't be attached. Nobody quotes that part. Everybody just says, no, Krishna tells me to work. So it's very interesting. how this verse is often misquoted. That people will say, Krishna told me I can work. But Krishna says also, he said, you should perform your prescribed duty. And often people don't know actually what is our prescribed duty. Prescribed duty, and Prabhupada touches on it in the purport, there are different considerations. Prescribed duty, for example, prescribed duty, one may be a father, he has a duty to look after the family. One may be a mother, she has a duty to look after the children and the home. One may be a Brahmin, they have a duty, certain things they have to do. They should recite the Vedas. They should be very religious and pious in their activities. Prescribed duties like that. The duty for the Vaishya is to take care of the cows and do farming, as well as some business. So there are different duties according to people's different situation. And Arjuna's duty, he's a Kshatriya, and here he is on a battlefield. They've been challenged to fight. Arjuna has a duty to fight. But Arjuna says, oh, he doesn't want to fight. So Krishna is saying, you have a right to do your duty, but you're not entitled to the results of work. Now, Arjuna was not worried about the results, but he didn't want to fight. He thought the fighting itself is wrong. But this was a problem. This was not good. And Krishna is saying that you never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Arjuna he was attached to he didn't want to fight. That was wrong. Sometimes we're attached. So both sides is wrong. If you're too much attached that you want to enjoy the result, or you're too much against the work, you don't want to do it. Both sides is not good. What is the proper route? The proper manner is that we do what we're supposed to do for the satisfaction of Krishna. We do it as yoga. That is yoga, working for Krishna. When we work for Krishna, then we are connected to Krishna by yoga. So the consciousness can spiritualize the action. The activities become spiritual when we are connected to Krishna. And how to work for Krishna? We offer the result of our work to Krishna. That's one way. And we can also just the consciousness to do it for Krishna, that I'm doing this for Krishna. I'm cooking for Krishna, I'm working for Krishna, I'm writing for Krishna. This is yoga. This is the yoga of action, karma yoga. So Krishna's encouraging Arjuna, do your duty. Don't be attached. And then when it's karma yoga, then there's no reaction. You don't have to worry about the reactions from the work. So Lord Krishna wants to encourage Arjuna in taking part in this battle, which is about to take place. He wants Arjuna to do it in the proper consciousness. Consciousness, very important. We practice Krishna consciousness. We want to be conscious of Krishna. Whatever we do it for Krishna. Why? Krishna means God, the Supreme Being, the cause of everything. That person from whom everything comes. He is the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Controller, and He is our best friend. And He's in the heart. He's also in every living entity's heart. And He's guiding us, He's helping us. And He helped us 5,000 years ago by coming to this world and speaking the Bhagavad Gita, which we're reading here today. the words of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's own words. He's not just speaking to Arjuna, he's speaking to all of us. He wants all of us to understand why we're working, how we should be working, what is the proper mood. All right, are there any questions on this?
Guru Maharaj, in this verse, you told that we have to do our duties for the satisfaction of Krishna, not attached to the results.
Yes.
But one who is not a Krishna devotee, will he be able to perform a duty without attachment to the results? Because there should be something expected for a duty, right?
So someone who's not a devotee, they can also they can work with detachment from the result, and they can do it. They can work just out of a sense of duty, just out of a sense of duty that this is my duty. I have to do it, without thinking about the result. That can also be detached work, of course. There are many people doing karma yoga who are not devotees. Although karma yogi, they're not attached to the result. They're detached workers. But they may not know who is Krishna. They don't know anything. They have no knowledge. They're just detached from the work. Oh, I just do it. I don't know why, I just do it. I like to do it. They don't know anything. So that's also detached work. But when if for the devotee, we're working at, it's more bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, if you like, that we're working for the satisfaction of Krishna, which is much higher than just simply the detached worker. Detached worker, yeah, he's not attached, but where's he going to go? What's his final destination? Detached worker. Well, he can go up to the Brahmajyoti. He can be elevated to the higher planets. You know, he's pious, and he's spiritual in the sense that he's detached, but he doesn't understand anything more than just simply detachment. So that detachment in itself is good, but it shouldn't be over detached. That, oh, I can't do this. No, I don't do that. You know, just like it's mentioned that one shouldn't be too much attached to not doing his duty. Don't be too much attached to doing it. Don't be too much attached to not doing it. Do what we're supposed to do. And the results are given up to Krishna. So detached work, it's not an easy thing to do. The nature of people, we're very attached. How to work with detachment? Well, we have to want to. Maybe, or sometimes, you know, like people do wealth work for others. Mother Teresa, for example, feeding the homeless people, feeding the street people. That's kind of detached work. Social work. But social work can be also material. It's not really spiritual. It's not yet on the yoga ladder. You simply do some pious activity. But the idea of karma yoga is that we offer the result to the Supreme. Who is the Supreme? Oh, I don't know. Karma yoga, he doesn't know who is the Supreme. Any God. Offer it to Ganesh, offer it to Shiva, offer it to Vishnu. They don't know who is the Supreme. So but they're detached from the work and they're offering it to someone. So if someone is so detached, eventually he may get the mercy of a devotee and somebody can come and instruct him and he can learn about how to offer everything to Krishna. Then that kind of detached work can bring one to bhakti yoga. So that kind of karma yoga, if it brings you to bhakti yoga, it's very good. We're working for Krishna, offering the result to Krishna, brings us to Krishna, brings us up to bhakti. Karma yoga, we work, but we're attached to working in particular ways, but we offer the result. Bhakti yoga, we'll do anything for Krishna. We don't worry what it is. Karma yoga, we surrender after. Bhakti yoga, we surrender in the beginning and then work. So in karma yoga, the surrender comes at the end. But in bhakti, the surrender comes at the beginning. So some distinctions there between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. But certainly karma yoga is very good. It's very good for people. Because it can be a good basis to bring people to bhakti yoga. Is it clear?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, very clear. Also, one more thing, Guru Maharaj, never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities.
Yes.
Yeah, is it the result of the activities is our karma, right? Like we are the cause of the result of our activities, isn't it like that?
Well, I think Krishna is encouraging us not to think that we're the doer. You know, we think, I did it, you know, I'm great, you know, I did this, look at me, I did this. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of activities. Krishna is he doesn't want Arjuna to be thinking he's responsible for everybody dying and all of this, you know, after the battle. He shouldn't think, you know, it's all my fault. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have fought. All these people had to die. It's all my doing. He has to understand there is you know, the laws of nature, karma, that we're all forced to act in particular ways. We also say, Sarva Karma Karanam, Krishna is the cause of all causes. We're not really the doer. But if we surrender to Krishna, devotee wants to give the credit to Krishna. One devotee, he used to cook for all the devotees in Vrindavan. This was in the beginning of our movement. We were taking prasadam there, and this one brahmachari, elderly Indian man, who was a brahmachari, would come and cook for everyone. And after he cooked, he would serve the prasadam to everyone. His name was Anand Babu. So devotees, we really loved his cooking, and we would always praise him. That, oh, Anand Babu, your cooking is so nice. But he would say, if it tastes good, then thank Krishna. But if it's not good, then you blame me. But we're the other way. We will say, if it tastes good, I did it. And if it's no good, we'll say, well, Krishna's mercy. So we have to be a little conscious that be responsible, try our best, and depend on Krishna. The verse in the Bhagavad Gita says, the prakriti kriya manani gunai karmani sarvasha, that the bewildered spirit soul thinks himself to be the doer of activities which are performed by material nature. So we're thinking we're the doer, but actually things are really done by the material nature. So we're not the doer, we're the instrument in the hands of the material nature. But it's not just the material nature acting independently. The material nature acts inspired by our own desire. It's our own individual desire which influences the material nature and causes the material nature to act in particular ways. So we are responsible. But Krishna is encouraging karma yoga, be detached. Because if we think I did it, then we're attached. I did it, I made it, it's mine. I should enjoy it. Krishna doesn't want Arjuna to have that mentality. So he said, never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of action. So in this way, we can cultivate the detached mode. And when we're detached, we do things much better. The more we're attached, the more difficult, we don't do well. But when we actually just let go and just do it, we can do very well. You often see people perform, you know, and when they just let go and they're not so worried about things, and then they perform wonderfully. All right?
Yes, thank you, Guru Maharaj. Fernando Prabhu, will you be able to read this verse? Are you driving or Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I can read it.
Thank
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, yoga shta kuru karmani sangam tyaktva danam jaya siddhi asiddhyo samo bhutva samtvam yoga uchyate. Translation. Perform your duty, equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Purport. Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing sense. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself. as is the rule in the material world. But one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. And directly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him.
Okay. So we can see again, Krishna stressing the importance of detached work. Don't be attached to success or failure. Such equanimity of mind is called yoga. So how important it is for us to conquer the mind. The mind, of course, wants to enjoy. The mind, and if we fail, then the mind is also suffering. Oh, the mind takes it very badly. It's very important that we transcend the mind. We transcend these material results. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and he's meant to perform the duty for the satisfaction of Vishnu. That's the purpose. The Varnashram system is meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Everyone has some duty to perform, meant to do some work, do it for Krishna or Vishnu. So this way, become successful. Success or failure, we did it for Krishna. That's the main thing. That is a success. Just like sometimes we try to do some program, we try to do some activity, and it may fail. But because we tried to do it for Krishna, there's no failure. The example is given how Lord Nityananda was going with Haridas, and they went to Jagai and Madhai to try to get them to chant. And the first day, Jagai and Madhai chased them. But it was no failure, rather it was glorious because they tried. They went there and they made the attempt. So that's the important thing in devotional service, that we make the attempt to try to please Krishna. The results, that's given by Krishna. But we have to make the attempt. That's the important thing. Okay. Any question?
Yes, I have a question, brother. It's very, very difficult in our society now, in this materialistic society, to abandon all attachment to success and failure, because I mean, you have a car, they put so much publicity to have a bigger car. You have anything you have, you must have bigger and new, and always using, always yeah, materialistic life. It's all over. It's all over. So it's very difficult for me to get on this energy of Krishna conscious, to give up all my attachment, and you know, everywhere you see, you have to succeed, yeah, and so it's very, very difficult in this society to practice spiritual.
Yes.
Everything. Yes.
But at the same time, we're limited what we can do. It's not just simply our own effort. Everyone wants to succeed. Does it mean everyone will succeed? It's not. Everyone would like to get money. Everyone wants to get rich and be famous. Can they all do it? Of course not. So we have to understand there are some limitations. You know, our happiness and success, it's already planned. It's already given to us. It's arranged. Krishna is the controller. He's behind everything, and he gives the result. You know, somebody without any work at all, without much effort at all, they get huge success. They get really big job. They get a lot of money, just without hardly any effort at all. And somebody else who's trying so hard doesn't get anywhere.
Yes.
We just had one devotee, one of our devotees, he was working and he was doing very well. He made a lot of sales, got a lot of business for the company. But when it came to putting, there was a vacancy in the top management, they gave it to some young person who was like 10 years younger than him. So he was really disappointed, he felt really low.
Mm-hmm.
But he was talking to his family about it, and then his children said, well, come on now, Dad, you have to be detached. Bhagavad Gita teaches detachment from the result. So when he heard that, then he understood, yeah, they're right, I put it aside, just let it go. Ultimately, it's for the better. You often find that, somebody may get promotion and, they get a little bit of salary and so much more work, so much more stress. It's not worth it.
Yes.
And sometimes they may get the promotion and then after a very short time, then they're kicked out. Sometimes you're better off sometimes just being where you are. We have to just surrender to Krishna's plan. Of course, we make some attempt, we make some effort, but we don't have to become mad. Just simply meditating and planning how to get the success, how to get the more power, how to get the bigger car, these things. Let Krishna take care of it. Krishna can do it if he wants. We're servants, we just surrender to Krishna. The results are given by him. We do our best and depend on Krishna.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Anybody? Okay. Vaishnavi?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So, what do we do?
Guru Maharaj, we can do the chanting now. It's 12:30. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have covered till 2. Yes, Guru Maharaj, 2.48. Yeah.
Yeah, next. Yeah. 2.48 covered. Yeah.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. So we'll do some chanting. Has everyone got some beads?
Yeah, yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, everyone has a bead. Yeah.
Okay, good. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. So, thank you very much, Vaishnavi.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for giving the one nice class and giving your time for us.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Have a good week.
Thank
See you
you.
next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Please take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Guru.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu's Mataji's. Thank you all. Hare
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Jai Prabhupada.
Hari Bol.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai.